Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. And today's video is going to be a recap of my weekly fragrance rotation, just finishing up the end of September. Today is the 30th, last day of September. So this rotation ran me through that final week here. Temperatures had been cooling down quite a bit. We were mostly in the 90s for the majority of September. I think the official date for the beginning of fall time was around the late 20s, however. So makes sense that the weather broke around that time, and we've been enjoying some really nice high 70s. Still a little bit warm, have been running the AC yet, but a lot of fragrances that are great for climate controlled environments, like this one for my Monday scent of the day, Dior Homme 2020, really nice ISOE Super Bomb, which is sort of a synthetic cedar, so you get a really nice, light, airy, woody tone going on, kind of almost powdery, but not quite in a make-up bag sort of way. Very much like just like a sawmill, sawdust kind of effect going on, with a slight sweetness coming in. Almost gives me a little bit of a black licorice style sweetness, in addition to some rather bright citruses. Easy dumb reach, sort of office friendly fragrance. Really something that I've gotten quite a bit of good wears out of since I've picked it up, and one of my favorites for this time of the year. And in general, I think that's a great DNA. Even though it's a little bit boring, I want to say, it's perfect for a signature scent in my opinion. Next up for Tuesday, we had another one that falls in that signature scent category. This is Tom Ford's Oud Wood. Upper end designer fragrance, definitely a little bit more costly than the rest of them, but you can get a 50 ml of this for like $150 on discounters a lot of the time, and I think this is really something worth going ahead and forking over that little bit of extra for a designer. I do think that the Versace's Oud Noir, which is another designer clone of this fragrance, comes really close, and I think that's a great fragrance too, but that one gives me a little bit more of a warm wearing experience. I think the spices in there lend themselves to being something a little bit more comforting, whereas this has this very cool, cold, sleek, smooth quality about it, and I think that that coldness adds to the overall aloof quality that this woody fragrance brings to the table, just making it a little bit more dark, mysterious, and grown up in my opinion, and a little bit less inviting. And that's something that I really appreciate about this, the original. Definitely worth getting your nose on. It's a classic for a reason. I haven't tried any of the Tamine fragrances, which I hear are good niche clones of that DNA, but really happy with the original, and was a great one for me on Tuesday, where we got a little bit of rain, so it was kind of overcast, and I think that the color tone of that fragrance matched the weather perfectly. And then for Wednesday, this was a new one to the collection, first time full wearing. This is New York Intense from Nicolai de Parfums. This is a really almost kaleidoscopic version of a aromatic fougere fragrance. I say kaleidoscopic because you get little bits and pieces of all the other fougères that you've gotten your nose on, at least from the sort of spring and summer category. This, although I think this is a great fall scent because of a amped up spicy quality in here, the overall wearing experience is rather fresh and zesty, or maybe not zesty because it's not really too fruity, but there are some sparkling citruses in here that do give it a sort of easy wearing experience, I want to say, but opens up a lot like a Chanel Pour Monsieur, kind of goes into a mid that is very reminiscent of like an Acqua di Parma flanker, maybe a Senza, and then dries down into something a little bit chalky lavender-esque, similar to Floris Elite in my opinion. Really enjoy wearing this stuff though. It's quite a gorgeous wearing experience. You do get a lot of texture, a lot of variance, a lot of change. Really happy with that one. Very classy, upscale, formal type scent that I'm looking forward to wearing a lot more throughout the course of the transitional seasons, spring and autumn. Next up for Thursday, went with a fall classic, L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Toilette from Guerlain. This is lemon iced tea with sawdust and Nesquik cacao powder. So very dry, sort of regal fragrance. Reminds me of something in the academic world, either a library or a school library, someplace where there's a lot of that book type smell, very papery, very dry in that sense, much like a study. But there's a brightness and a sweetness in here that are not overly done in either direction, just perfectly well balanced. A little bit light on the performance. I only get about 4 to 5 hours with this one, as you can see by how much I have oversprayed it and reapplied it, but definitely looking forward to re-upping this bottle once it's finished. L'Instant de Guerlain for Thursday. Like I said, just a classic fall time scent. Friday, I like to wear niche fragrances, and I went with this one right here, Danger Parfum Pour Homme from Roja Dove. This is a clone of Guerlain's Heritage, and very similar to the comparison between the Oud Wood and Versace Oud Noir. I think that this fragrance has a little bit more of a warm wearing experience than Heritage, which I get a little bit more of a cool wearing experience, cold tonality. And I prefer the warmth in this fragrance. There's a patchouli in here that gets a little bit more dirty, chocolatey, earthy than it does in the Heritage, which I don't know if it's like geranium or something that's giving it that cool quality, but this one just comes off a little bit more smooth, less sharp. I don't know if the price difference is really worth it. They are similar enough that paying $90 for the Guerlain versus the $250 for the 50 ml of this, but really absolutely adored the wearing experience with this one. Really looking forward to wearing it again. Might make it my scent of the day today. It's just so gorgeous, well done. It goes into that warm fougere category, sandalwood, patchouli, lavender, just absolutely stunning creation there. Not something that I think is necessarily a compliment puller. I haven't gotten any positive attention with that or Heritage yet, but definitely my speed in terms of fragrance genres. I absolutely love the scent profile on those. Definitely have this, I like to say, like 90s optimism in a bottle. Like there's that sense of the world stage that was set during the 90s. It's very forward looking. It didn't seem like there was the end of the world was on the horizon. There was sort of that vision of flying cars still as a possibility. That kind of reminds me of just the air that was going on at the time. Saturday, though, we had Kiehl's Original Musk. Nice, simple, clean, a little bit dirty and animalic at the same time. Perfect juxtaposition of fragrance notes. The musks in here are very soft and pillowy. They do get a little bit steamy, I want to say. Kind of reminds me of being in a steam room or a sauna. In terms of the texture, the overall wearing experience, while warm, isn't that hot like a sauna, but then there's some really nice sort of animalic florals. I don't know if it's jasmine that kind of is giving this little bit of a dirty thickness to it, I want to say. But overall, definitely has this slight funk about it, but in a good way, and it mixes in with that clean, soapy musk quality that, like I said, is a perfect juxtaposition to give enough character to an otherwise rather simplistic fragrance. And a great hidden gem little cheapie. I just saw these were going on sale recently for $40 for these 50 mLs. Definitely something worth getting your nose on. Perfect transitional fragrance as well. I think this works great in the late summer and mid-spring season in addition to this autumn. And then had two fragrances for Sunday. So I woke up, it was a little bit rainy, overcast, and the black tea note in here I think is perfect for that type of autumn weather. This is Russian tea from Masque Milano. There's also a very prominent leather note in here. I think this is more of a leather fragrance than it is even a tea fragrance. And then there's sweetened up with a little bit of raspberry, a nice cooling effect from a mint note that's really well done in here as well. And I do get a little bit of a watered down honey sweetness, a little bit of a cold wearing experience, which is why I think it's great for those overcast days. But the sun did peek out and it got quite warm in the afternoon, and I decided to finally mow my lawn, which I've been putting off for a little while. And this fragrance was a perfect companion for that. It does a really good job of transitioning from cold weather to warm weather. That mint does a good job of cooling me off when it gets a little bit warmer out, and the wearing experience is light enough that I think this is a perfect office or signature scent as well. But after finishing up with mowing the lawn, showered, and this one came off for my scent of the night, which is my first full wearing with this one. I got this bottle about a month ago. Hadn't just kind of tested it on my hand a little bit, but didn't really wear it. So last night I wore it to bed, and I do enjoy it, but there's a very heavy orange blossom note in here, which is a note that I don't agree with that much. But the leather is so well done in here that I'm willing to kind of open myself up to that orange blossom for the sake of the really well done, soft, suede style leather here. This is Hobby Rouge, Rouge Prive from Guerlain. And this stuff, like I said, there's this very nice plush suede leather in here. It's very much sweetened up by that orange blossom and a heavy dollop of vanilla as well. I actually haven't smelled the original Hobby Rouge, so I'm going to have that on my short list to pick up to make comparisons. I'm also looking to score the Parfum version of this line here soon, because I do quite enjoy this DNA. Like I said, that soft suede style leather in here is just very comforting. It's a very cozy style feeling, while also emanating a great degree of class and sophistication from this kind of old school feel, but sweetened up with enough of that modern softness that I think this is easily something that could be pulled off. Definitely more of a nighttime fragrance. It's very thick, heavy, dense, something that I would probably wear only in cooler weather, even though there's a decent little bit of that orange blossom citrus combination going on that could transition well in a cooler day. Overall, I think this is definitely more set for fall and winter though, but looking forward to wearing this one a little bit more. Hopefully the orange blossom is something that I can kind of overlook for the sake of the well done leather there. But those were the 8 fragrances that I wore this last week of September. Let me know what you've been rocking in the comment section down below. Let me know if there's any fragrance recommendations that you have based upon my last week's rotation that you think I would be into, if we share similar tastes in that respect. And as always, I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.